Yo, yeah, man. Yep. So let's start our study. So I'm gonna share my screen in block in because the background and everything is bad. But I'm going to just study on Nano because this is my old rooms. So fam room. Yeah, man. This is my room. So this is my oldest alga. And anyways, so let's start studying. So ብዙ ሰዓት እናነባለን ዛሬ ማለት ነው። Imagine. ይህን ላጥፋው. So let me share my screen. And now we will study. All right, window. Okay, so okay, all right, alrighty. So can you see my screen? All right, you don't see my screen? All right, so አይታይም ነው ምንድን ነው? ምን ይሸን አይታይም? Okay, so ጀምሯል አይደለ? All right, so screen share ማድረግ ያ ይታያል. Anyways, let's go. እሺ አሁን እያጠናሁ ያለሁት እሺ አሁን እያጠናሁ ያለሁት this is lymph node. This is alrighty. ከዚች ጋር አሁን ፓቶሎጂ የሆነ ቴክስት ቡክ አለ። ቴክስቷን ከፍታታለን። ከዛ ይደቀደቃል። ምን መሰለሽ ሚስጥሩ ዋናው ነገር you have to read. ለምንድን ነው like after all you'll be a doc ከዛ there will be a patient ምናምን ምንም አታውቂ ከሆነ እዳው አንቺው ጋር ነው የሚሆነው። እዚህ ቲቪ ምናምን ስምሽን ይዘሽ ኢንተርቪው ምናምን ስትሰጪ ነው የምትዞሪው፣ ሰው ማከም ትተሽ ማለት ነው። So real dogs live behind the door ከፔሸንት to be real you have to read. Okay, this is lymph node and spleen. So this capsule cortex, secondary follicle, germline, mantle zone, marginal zone, paracortex, medulla core, sinus, and vessels. Okay, so let's start. So my goal is in this study session Uh, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read till okay, this thing. ከዝም ብለን እናነባለን ማለት ነው እስከቻልነው ድረስ ሶ ዲስ ኢዝ አያችሁ ዲስ ሊምፍ ኖድ ሲያብጥ ምናምን ፈሎች ምናምን አሉ ቤት መተን እንዳይበጠብጥም እሺ ሌትስ ስታርት ሶ ዩ ሲ the follicle right the follicle ሙሉ ለሙሉ አይታይም አይደል all right okay what is follicle now this is the histology this is the histology of the lymph node all right here we have capsule and we have cortex so and below it there is ziga paracortex so and there is also medulla because this is the typical lymph node all right but you may ask what is lymph because lymph nodes act as a defensive barriers lymphs are kind of structures they are secondary immunostructures and because lymph nodes act as a defensive barriers they get frequently enlarged lymphadenopathy the infection or antigens that cause lymphadenopathies are numerous and varied so usually the histologic picture in the nodes is entirely non-specific designated acute or chronic non-specific lymphadenitis. Okay, usually the histologic picture in the node is entirely non-specific, designated acute or chronic non-specific. So the histology is not specific, it's not non-specific. Yeah, what does it mean? Okay, we will see. We will see. We will see, we will see, we will see, we will see, we will see. So, page center number. The first page. Alright, this is cell. Okay. Alrighty. Blood times 583 583 okay so መነበብ አለበት meaning okay this here I found this book so አሁን ስለ ምንድነው እና ያነበብነው ስለ ሊምፍ ነው አይደለም ስለ ሊምፍ nodes disease ነው so this we have books እዚህ ጋር እንሂድና እናንበብ so lymphoid neoplasm taken together the diverse lymph node neoplasm constitute a complex clinically important group of cancers with about this amount of new cases being okay cool all right now what's the definition and classification all right neoplasm that present with a widespread involvement of the bone marrow usually but not always the peripheral blood are called leukemias okay proliferation of white cells typically lymphocytes okay lymphoid parts lymphocyte A and B cell ማለት that usually present as discrete tissue mass are called lymphomas okay they are called lymphomas but the peripheral blood disease leukemia and what is lymphomas the white parts. Originally, these terms were attached to that were considered distinct entities, but with time, increased understanding this division have blurred. Many entities called lymphoma occasionally have leukemia presentations. Okay, and evolution to leukemia is not unusual during the progression of incurable lymphomas. Conversely, tumors identical to leukemias sometimes arise as soft tissue mass without detectable bone marrow diseases. Hence, the term leukemia and lymphoma merely reflect the usual tissue distribution of each disease at presentation. Within the large group of lymphomas, Hodgkin lymphoma is segregated from other forms which constitute non-Hodgkin lymphomas. Hodgkin lymphoma has distinctive pathologic feature and is treated in a unique fashion. Another special group of tumors include plasma cells. Alright, plasma cells, neoplasm. Alright, plasma cells is from B cells. Alright, these most often arise in the bone marrow and only infrequently involve lymph nodes and peripheral blood. This is crazy, this is crazy, this is going crazy. Alright, alrighty. Alrighty. What I wanted to do is okay, so let me send the book into Telegram and then put it on my phone and then convert it into instead of putting myself into multiple tasking, it is better if I just really so let's start study. this. Alright, so I shared it on my group channel or the Telegram channel ይለቅቄዋለሁ and the video and everything ጠጠር ቴክ ላይ ጠጠር ሚል ላይ ይለቅቄዋለሁ so she now let's continue okay the space laptop is like okay so ዛሬ ይህን መጽሐፍ ነው የምናነበው ማለት ነው እንደ ፓወርፖይንት ጎን ለጎን ደግሞ ጎን ለጎን all right እሺ እዚህ ጋር ነው lymph nodes because lymph nodes act as a defensive barriers okay they get frequently enlarged all right okay so the histology አይተናል so what are the function of each okay let's start with forget about everything እና ሜዱላ እና ኮርቴክስን ብቻ ዲፋይን እናደርግ so cortex subcapsular portion of node with largest number of follicle all right should I create this one all right ፒሲ እንዳይዘጋ እግዚአብሔር ይርዳኝ ፒሲ እንዳይዘጋ እግዚአብሔር ይርዳኝ all right so cortex is subcapsular portion of node with the largest number of follicles okay now let's define follicle okay cortex contain what follicles primary and the secondary all right now what are follicles okay the primary follicle is round aggregate of small dark staining inactive or naive B lymphocytes usually near the capsule all right within the network of follicular dendritic cell process and also no germline center present all right አሁን አዲስ ነገሮችን አንስተናል what is capsule near the capsule ይላል and also contain B lymphocytes naive B lymphocytes and also there is no germline center and also what is germline I don't know germline okay now let's go to the definition of capsule what is capsule a thin fibrous connective tissue covering the lymph node and maybe thicker at hilus connected to fibrous tubercle which penetrate the node, and capsule may contain smooth muscle cells. All right. And what about the secondary follicle? Secondary follicle arise from primary follicle that develops germline center. The first one, the second one, due to okay, see below align ማለት ነው. So now let's see these images. All right, these are the images. She. Now this is the lymph node. ከዛ these are trabecule and these are medullary census እያለን ነው. And with its capsule, first. Okay, lymph nodes, these are thymus, thoracic duct, cervical, እዚህ ጋርም አለ inguinal lymph nodes, እግርህ ጋር ያለው አለ. There is spleen, spleen, spleen. Okay, this is okay. All right. እሺ germline የሌለው አለ. This follicle, primary follicle ይባላል, and it's rise from secondary ደግሞ, but with germline is secondary follicle. And what was B lymphocytes የሚይዘው? That's actually the cortex. No, this not the primary follicle, and the cortex have the largest follicle, the kind of the portion ይላል. So እዚህ ጋር አግኝተነዋል እንዴ? This one, but what about this? ይህን ነገር ማወቅ is very very essential. The cortex, paracortex, medulla. All right. ይህን ነገር እያደረ ይገባናል ብዬ አስባለሁ. But this is the histology. So we will read more further more on this later ለብቻው. The infections or antigens that cause these are numerous and varies. Okay. What is lymphohidrosis? Maybe this is itis የሚል ነገር ካለው it's እብጠት ማለት ነው. Okay, lymphohidrosis is inflammation and swelling of lymph nodes typically caused by bacteria, viral. Okay, the cause is variant and gets frequently enlarged. Lymphadenopathy, valal. Alright, so usually the histologic picture in the node is entirely non-specific. What does it mean? Designated, acute or chronic, non-specific. Alright, okay, it's non-specific. Alright, designated as specific or non-specific, chronic or non-chronic. Alright, acute, non-specific. Okay, usually confined to a local group of nodes, draining a focal infection. Alright, it's local. What does it mean local? What do you mean local lymph nodes? A group of nodes draining a focal infection. It may be generalized when there is systemic bacterial or viral infection. Alright, so confined to a local group of nodes draining a focal infection. A local infection ለማለት ነው, a focal infection. Alright. It's okay, it's local. What does it mean? What about local? Okay, what is the local colon? It's systemic ማለት ነው አይደለም? So this is local. So we will read it further እዚህ መጽሐፍ ላይ ማለት ነው. ሌታ okay, ይሄኛው ነገር okay, this is germline ሶስተኛው ላይ. This is germline. የገርጣው part is germline. And this is capsule. Capsule is fibrous, and this one is kind of the natural part is fatty acid. It's fat, not fatty acids. It's kind of adipose, no? It's fat. And the fourth one is para. The upper part is cortex, I believe. And the fifth one is I don't know. We will see it later. Alright, so the approximately there are ቅድም ባየነው መሰረት ማለት ነው። ሶ እዚህ ጋር ሁለት ነገሮችን አይተናላ። የመጀመሪያው ሉኪሚያ እና ሊንፎማ ልዩነት አሳይቶናል አይደለም? So leukemia is primarily involves bone marrow and peripheral bloods, but lymphoma primarily presents as a discrete tissue masses or tumors in nodes or organs. All right. Peripheral blood, but this one is kind of nodes or organs because leukemia, white cell leukemia, ምናምን ምናምን የደም ካንሰር ነገር ነው። So the reality is these are terms often they are used interchangeably, and a lymphoma can have leukemic phase, and a leukemia can form solid mass. Leukemia can have solid mass, and the lymphoma can have leukemic phase because lymphoma is present with tumors in all nodes or organs and discrete tissue masses. But how does this have leukemic phase? That's the big split is the neoplasm are divided into Hodgkin lymphoma and also non-Hodgkin lymphoma. HL or like Hodgkin lymphoma is unique because of its specific pathology and orderly spread. So እዚህ ጋ ምንድነው የሚለው within the large group of lymphoma, Hodgkin lymphoma is segregated from other forms which constitute alright in non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Hodgkin lymphoma has distinctive pathologic features and treated in a unique fashion. Another special group of tumors include plasma cells, neoplasms. These most often arise in bone marrow and only infrequently involved in lymph nodes and the peripheral blood. All right. The clinical presentation of lymphoid neoplasm is most often determined by anatomic distribution of the disease. Two-thirds of NHI virtually all Hodgkin lymphoma present as enlarged non-tender lymph nodes, often greater than 2 centimeters. The remaining present with symptoms related to involvement of extranodal sites like skin, stomach, or brain. Lymphocytic extranodal sites like skin, stomach, or brain. Lymphocytic leukemia most often come because of signs and symptoms related to suppression of normal hematopoiesis by tumor cells in bone marrow, whereas the most commonly plasma neoplasm, multiple myeloma cause bone destruction, and skeleton often presents with pain due to pathologic fracture. Other symptoms are frequently caused by proteins secreted from tumor cells or from immune cells responding to tumor. Okay, so specific example include plasma cell tumor in which related whole antibody or Ig fragments, Hodgkin lymphoma, which is often associated with fever related to release of cytokines from non-plasmic inflammatory cells, and peripheral T cells, lymphomas, tumor or functional T cells that often release pro-inflammatory cytokines and chemocytokines. Historically, few areas of pathology evoked as much controversy as classification of lymphoid neoplasm, but consensus has been reached through use of objective molecular diagnosis tool. The current World Health Organization classification scheme uses morphologic, immunophenotypic, genotypic, and clinical feature to sort the lymphoid neoplasm into 5 broad categories separated according to cell of origin: precursor B cells, neoplasms, neoplasms of immature B cells, peripheral B cells, neoplasms of mature B cells, and precursor T cell neoplasms of immature T cells. Precursor B cell neoplasm of immature B cells, peripheral B cells neoplasm of neoplasms of mature B cells. So this is the worldwide organization classification for neoplasms. And this the first one is precursor B cell neoplasm, B cell acute neoplasm. All right, okay. B cell neoplasm, this chronic አሉ እነዚህ ነገሮች ማንተል ሴል፣ ኦሪጂናል ሴል፣ ፎሊኩላር ሊምፎማ ምናምን ምናምን አለ ማለት ነው። ሶ ቅድም ባለው መሰረት the clinical signs are like almost all are HL and as enlarged one third of present extramedullary sites stomach or ላይ አሉ ማለት ነው። ሶ እዚህ ጋር በወርልድ ኦርጋናይዜሽን መሰረት ሊምፎይድ ኒዮፕላዝም ወደ 5 ካቴጎሪ አድርገዋቸዋል። የመጀመሪያው ፕሪከርሰር ቢሴል ማቹር፣ ፕሪፈራል ቢሴል ማቹር፣ ፕሪፈራል and ኒዮፕላዝም፣ ከዛ ፕሪከርሰር ቲሴል፣ ፕሪፈራል ቲሴል and NK ሴል እና ሆጅኪን ሊምፎማ ከፋፍለዋቸዋል። and also እዚህ እዚህ ጋር በእነዚህ ማርከሮች ማወቅ ይቻላል። እዚህ ጋር በተዘረዘሩት ማለት ነው። morphologically these are the protein markers. ماشي. Okay, so like right ስለዚህ ቅድም ላይ ባለው መሰረት እዚህ ጋር WHO classified it very well based on the development phase. Okay, so is it precursor? Is it mature in the development phase ላይ ማለት ነው? So there are four ብለን ይዘናል ማለት ነው። So Okay, most lymphoid neoplasm resembles some recognized stage of differentiation feature that is used in the classification. The vast majority of lymphoid neoplasm are B-cell origin, response to the remainder being T-cell stimuli. Tumors often became origin and lymphoid neoplasm are often associated with immune abnormalities because of loss of protective immunity, susceptibility to infection, and the breakdown of tolerance. Autoimmunity may be seen sometimes in the same patient. In further immune twist, individuals with inherited or acquired autoimmune conditions are themselves at high risk of developing certain lymphoid. So, as I pushed out, we can just diagnose them uh, by looking at them. Yeah, like we have to take a piece of the tissues, like biopsy, and look them under the microscope. And there are uh, histologic examination, like looking at the actual tissue structure, or also protein markers. We use special antibodies to see what proteins are on the surface of the cell, and this is like uh, so normal immune responses or polyclonal. So antigen receptor gene rearrange generally precedes transformation of lymphoid cells, since all daughter cells derived from malignant progenitor share the same antigen receptor gene configuration and sequence and synthesize identical antigen receptor proteins, either IgG or T-cell receptor. In contrast, normal immune response are compromised of polyclonal population of lymphocytes that express many different antigens receptor. Thus, analysis of antigen receptor gene and their protein products can be used to distinguish reactive and malignant monoclonal lymphoid proliferation. In addition, each antigen receptor gene rearrangement produces a unique DNA sequence that constitutes a highly specific clonal marker, which can be used to detect small numbers of residual malignant lymphoid cells after the therapy. So, yeah, now, like a normal human response. So, like لمثال, if you have a cold, your body makes many different types of B cells to fight it, and they all have different keys and antigen receptors. Meanwhile, in cancer, one single cell does goes crazy and makes millions of exact copies of itself, and so they all have the same exact key. So it's monoclonal. In cancer cells, it's monoclonal. So all daughter cells of the cancer come from one parent cell, and so doctors can look at the DNA, and if all the cells have the same DNA, like arrangements, it is a cancer. If they are all different, it's just a normal infection ማለት ነው. Okay, cancer cell is monoclonal አይደለም? That's the key here is expressed ማለት ነው. So in contrast, this response comprised of polyclonal population of lymphocytes that express many different antigens. Thus, analysis of antigen receptor gene and their protein product can be used to distinguish reactive polyclonal and malignant monoclonal lymphoid proliferation. In addition, each antigen receptor gene rearrangement produces a unique DNA sequence that constitutes a highly specific clonal marker which can be used to detect small numbers of residual malignant lymphoid cells after therapy. Alright, then let's continue. Most lymphoid neoplasm resembles some recognizable stage of B or C cell differentiation, a feature that is used in their classification. The vast majority of 85% to 90% of lymphoid neoplasm are B cells origin, with most of the remainder being T cell tumors. Tumors of NK cells origin are also rare. Lymphoid neoplasm often associated with immune abnormality was a loss of protective immunity, susceptible to infection, and breakdown of tolerance. Autoimmunity may be seen sometimes in the same patient. In further ironic twist, individuals with inherited or acquired immunodeficiency are themselves at high risk of developing certain lymphoneoplasm, particularly those caused by oncogenic viruses (EBV). Neoplastic alright. So most lymphoid cancers like 85 እስከ 90% የሚሆነው ከቢ ሴል ነው የሚገኙት and T cell cancers are like much rare and NK cell cancers are almost never be seen and so B cell dominance so when we study this so spend most of our time on B cell type ነው ማለት ነው. And the cancer cell usually look like normal cells at specific stage of its life. Okay, so now EBV, epstein by virus. So it is also cruel of the nature, and even though the cancer is made of immune cells, they don't work. The patient's immune system actually fails. They cannot fight infections, and or the broken cells start attacking the patient's own body. Are autoimmune. So both of the lost protective immunity and the breakdown of tolerance may be seen, and sometimes in the same patient. Sometimes in the same patient. In further, iron-twist individuals with inherited or acquired immunodeficiency are themselves at higher risk of developing certain lymphoid neoplasm, particularly those caused by oncogene virus. So patients with this cancer often die from simple infection because of their B cell is busy being cancerous and not fighting germ, and the body gets confused and starts attacking itself. So you are supposed to fight, but you are here, alright, trying to produce, and this is a joke. Neoplastic B cells and T cells tend to recapitulate the behavior of their normal counterparts. Like normal lymphocytes, neoplastic B and T cells express adhesion molecule and chemoreceptor, the chemokines receptor that govern their homing to certain tissue sites. So usually normal immune cells know where to live. For example, some T cells live in the skin, and if a skin T cell become cancerous, it will stay in the skin. Alright, and um, facing the characteristic patterns of involvement. For example, follicular lymphoma 2 germinal centers in lymph nodes, follicular lymphomas home to germinal center of lymph nodes, where cutaneous T cells home to these skin cells, and variable numerous of neoplastic T and B cells also recirculates through the lymphatic and peripheral blood to distant sites. As a result, more lymphoid tumors are widely disseminated at the time of diagnosis. Notably, exception of this rule is Nazi and restrict to one group, and lymph nodes and marginal zone B-cell lymphoma, which often restrict to site of chronic inflammation. ኦኬ እዚህ ጋር እንደምናየው ቲ ሴል አሶሺየትድ ከሆነ የምናየው 1 3 4 እስከ 8 ነው። ከ1 እስከ 8 ቢ ሴል አሶሺየትድ ከሆነ ኢዝ ዴይ አር ላይክ ትልቅ ናቸው። ከ10 እስከ 23 አካባቢ ያሉት and kind of እነዚህ መያዝ ራሱ ትንሽ ሪከብቸራል ፕራይመሪ ሞኖሳይቶች ደግሞ ሲ 11 ሲ 13 ብቻ ከ19 እስከ 23 ድረስ ያሉት ሞር ላይክ ቢ ናቸው። ኤክሰፕሽን ኢዝ 10 እሺ ዲስ አር ማርከርስ አምስት ለምሳሌ ዲስ አር ማርከርስ መቼም መውደድ አልቻልኩም። ሰው ሌትስ ኤንኬ 1656 66 እነዚህን ከያዘን ይበቃናል። So most lymphoid cancers spread all over the body because normal immune cells naturally travel through the blood and also lymph node. So cancer cells still act like normal cells they used to be, and because immune cells are travelers by nature, these cancers are usually already spread out and they are found ማለት ነው። So this table list ያየ ነው cluster of differentiation ነው CD okay so CD 19 እና CD 20 these are the ID tags for B cells and if a cell is CD20 plus kind of B cell ነው 20 ቤት ናቸው ያሉት mostly, and CD3 CD4 CD8 and CD1 do we have CD1 yeah CD1 yeah there are so markers for T cell and CD45 okay ግማሽ ደቂቃ ግማሽ 90 ዲግሪ 90 ደቂቃ 45 ደቂቃ universal white blood cell tag, and almost all white blood cell have this. So boom so and there is a big difference in how Hodgkin and non-Hodgkin cells spread. So Hodgkin lymphoma are very predictable, and they move from one node to the next one over like a train on a track, and this makes it easier to treat with radiation. But non-Hodgkin lymphomas, they are unpredictable and it jumps around the body and spreads widely very early. So Hodgkin is orderly and non-Hodgkin is unorderly ማለት ነው። እዚህ ጋር ምስል ካለ እናያለን። precursor okay. multiple myeloma, chronic lymphocytic leukemia 51 ፔጅ ነው። so it's 51 ፔጅ ካላነበብክ you're not a doctor አይገባም ማለት you have to read ቪዲዮ ብቻ እያየሽ ከሆነ ቃልን ብቻ ነው የምታደርገው። so ደደብ መሆን የለብሽም። ማንበብ ደደብ ራስሽ ብትሆን you will be አሪፍ ሰው። ሰው ሳያይ ሰው ሳያይ what the hell ቆሟል እንዴ the live session ኦኬ ፕሪከርሰር ቢሴል እንደ ኒውክሊየር እሺ በስልካችን ቼክ እያደረግናቸው እስኪ እየሰራ ነው ወዲያው ወዲያው እየሰራች ሌስኮ ፕሪከርሰር ቢሴል ሊምፎማ ግን አሁን ከኋላ እንዳንቀር ማለት እዩ so confined local group of not draining focal infection it may be generalized when there is systemic bacterial or viral infection ቅድም ኢቢቪ ቫይረስ ምክንያት ፕሮ ኦንኮጂንስ ክሬት ሊሆን ይችላል ራሱን አታክ ሊያደርግ ይችላል የሚል ነገር አይተናል acute non-specific microscopically acutely inflamed nodes are swollen gray red and enlarged histologically they are large germline center containing numerous mitotic figure እሺ አሁን እዚህ ጋር የምትመለከተው ኦኬ አሁን ይሄንን ምንድነው የምንለው ጀርም ላይን የምንለው ይሄ ነጭ ፓርት ነው germ line large germ line center containing numerous mitotic figure these guys are mitotic figure mitosis division አለ ማለት ነው okay macroscopically acutely inflamed nodes are swollen gray red and enlarged distended what the hell distended so pyogenic organism leads to neutrophilic infiltrates okay pyogenic organism what the hell is pyogenic አለማወቃት አይደለም ግን አለማወቅን ማለፍ ግን ኃጢአት ነው involving or related to the production of pus መግል ማለት ነው pus alright pyogenic organism okay ከዚህ ከመግል ጋር ምን አገናኘው ካልከን leads to neutrophilic infiltrates what is neutrophilic infiltrates so research ማድረግ አለብኝ I have to be true rainbow okay neutrophilic infiltrate are dense accumulation of neutrophils a type of white blood cells tissue acting like as a key feature of inflammation often occurring in sterile without active infection አለ okay so follicle and within lymphoid sinus affected nodes are tender and when abscess is extensive become fluctuant okay affected nodes are they are tender okay what is tender 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 gentle affection kindness ስስ ማለት ነው በሌላ አባባል and when abscess formation abscess means kind of abscess ክብ ነገር ነው abscess localized collection of pus white blood cell dead tissue and bacteria that form in the body mature thanks to wall of an infection so Streptococcus aureus okay is extensive and become fluctuant የከፍታ fluctuant describes something that is constantly changing unstable or moving in a wave it is frequently used for fluctuating price temperature moods or to describe fluctuant የሚቀያየር ነው unstable ማለት ነው become fluctuant ኦኬ አሁን እያወራን ያለነው ምንድነው ነን ስፔሲፊክ ሊምፎይድ አሁን ስለ ነን ስፔሲፊክ ተወርቷል እዚህ ጋር መጽሐፉ ላይ አልተወራም ስለ ነን ስፔሲፊክ አልተወራም ምንድነው የሚሻለው አስተማሪዎች እግዚአብሔር ይባርካቸው እንደፈለጉ እየጨረጋገዱ የውስጣል እነሱ ግን ይሄን መጽሐፍ አንበበውታል እኛ ይሄንን መጽሐፍ እንዳናነብ እናደርጉት ጥረት የለም እና ማን ይሰማችኋል ሰሚ አለ እንዴ? እንቀጥል እባክሽ። እነዚህ ማንንም አንሰማም እኛ። መስሚያዬ ጥጥ ነው። የመዓት እዚህ ጋር ተመዝግቧል። እሺ ኒዮፕላዝም ቢ ሴል፣ ብሩኪትስ፣ ሊምፎማ፣ ስቴሪ ስካይ ነው የሚባለው። ስኬሪ ስካይ። ኦኬ ሄሪ ሊምፎማ፣ ሄሪ ሴል አለች፣ ማንትል ሴል አለች። ማንትል ሴል 11 14፣ ትራንስሎኬሽን ፎሊኩላር 12 18፣ ኒዮፕላዝም ማቹር ቲ ሴልስ፣ አደልት ቲ ሴል ሉኪሚያ፣ ሄልፐር ሴል non specified. Okay, go ahead. So አሁን እንዴት ኦርጋናይዝ እንደምናደርገው እንማከርና ይሄን ነገር መላን ዘይድለት እንጂ ዝም ብዬ እያፈጠጥኩኝ እንትን አንለውም። ሶ አሁን እዚች ጋር this is for B ማለት ይሄን የሆነ ነገር እናድርገው። ይሄን ቴብል የሆነ ነገር እናድርገው። ስለዚህ ይሄን ኮፒ አድርጌዋለሁ። this is ኮፒ የተደረገው ነው። so now what I'm gonna do is እንደ ጀማሪ ማጠፋውን አጠፋለሁ ማየውን አያለሁ ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ይሄ አይመለከተኝም አጠፋሁት ማለት ነው። what should I say except you're welcome. all right again የማይመለከተኝን አጠፋለሁ። እሺ ይሄን አጠፋሁት። ኦር ዋይት ላድርገው። አይመለከተኝም። ጠርዙን ጠርዝ አደርገዋለሁ። ይሄ አይመለከተኝም። what else የማይመለከተኝ the genotype በኋላ each specifically ስለማጠናቸው አይመለከቱኝም። ኦኬ now የሚመለከተኝ the two categories ናቸው። so this is the okay now this is the premature one and this is the mature one and so ከዛ immature one B አለ and T አለ። so the T one is we have B cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia or lymphoma, T cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia or lymphoma. acute ነው። so cell origin እናያለን። this is bone marrow precursor B cell and this one is precursor T cell often in thymic original. ከዛ once is kind of mature የሆነው ላይ ደግሞ this is by the way በWHO መሰረት ክላሲፋይ ስናደርገው ቅድም ባየነው መሰረት ማለት based on their origin እና stage። ስለዚህ the B cells mature የሆነው ላይ one we have Burkitt lymphoma Burkitt lymphoma ትላለ diffuse large B cell lymphoma extra nodal marginal zone ከዛ this we have follicular lymphoma here we have hairy cell lymphoma leukemia mantle cell አለ እነዚህ አሉ each by each ስለምንሄድበት now for now we don't care እዚህ ጋር የተፈጠረው so what is their cell origin B memory cell these are B cells and they are mature B cells and naive B cells ይላል እዚህ ጋር mantle but if it is mature how it could be naive ማለት ዝም ብሎ የሚቀመጥ ፕላዝማ ፕሮዲውስ የማያደርግ ማለት ነው because B cells produce ፕላዝማ ሴልስ እነዚህ ናቸው። አናዘር ቢ ሴልስ I believe that's the right path. I think so አስተካክላለሁ ከተሳሳትኩ። and this is germinal B center B cells አሉ። ኦኬ ብሩክታዊት ቢ ጀርሚናል እዚህ ጋር እንዳየኸው እዚህ ጋር ጀርሚናል አለ ጀርሚናል ከዛ ሜሞሪ ቢ ሴልስ አለ ሁለት ናይቭ አለ ማንተል እና እሺ በቃ ይህን ክላሲፋይ አደረግን። ሶ የቀደሙ ቴብል ላይ ኦኬ ሶ አትሊስት ይህን ነገር ከፈልም ማለት ነው። ሌትስ ቶክ ቱ ማቹር ቢ ሴል እና እነዚህ ደግሞ የሆነ ነገር እናድርግ። ዝም ብለህ ከምታልፈው የሆነ ነገር አድርገው ብታልፍ ይሻላል። ሶ that's the classification so there is nothing else ማለት ነው። ዲቴል የሆነ ነገር አናይም ምክንያቱም for each study ሳደርግ ኖቱን አወጣዋለሁ ራሴ። alright so for let's ignore this. Let's ignore this. Now B cell, this is origin and this is the type. And now we are looking at T cells now. Okay. Helper T cell, cytotoxic T cell, cytotoxic T cells. And the first three are T cells related nature. And also here we have also T cell related mycosis fungoids. But this one is killer cell. Natural killer cell. And again natural killers. Large granular lymphocyte type cytokine and also of course natural killer cell is island. The symbol is T. This one is N. T. Alright. ሪቪው ለማድረግ ያህል for anyways ለማንኛውም እቺ ነገር አሁን እዚች ነው ትንሽ እንትን ለማለት ያህል ቦን ማረው the birthplace for B and of course T cell. Okay. አሁን ቅድም ላይ ባሳየሁት መሰረት እቺ የመሄጃ በደንብ ታሳየናለች ከቴብሉ ጋር አገናኝታ ማለት ነው። ታይመስ አለ ታይመስ is for T cells kind of train የሚደረጉበት ቦታ ነው። actually T cells trained in thymus አሁን ቅድም ባሳየኋችሁ መሰረት እሺ አንድ precursors part እንምጣ ይኸውና multiple myeloma. Where is multiple myeloma? Okay, post germinal center. Post germinal center forming plasma cells. Okay, here. Okay, where is chronic lymphosis and small lymphatic precursor lymphomas? This is bone marrow. CLP, BLB, NBC. What is CLB? What is CLP? Common lymphoid precursor ማለት ነው። This one is ምን ማለት ነው? Common lymphoid precursor. and common lymphoid precursor changes into transforms itself BLB. What is BLB? Pre-B lymphoblast. Pre-B lymphoblast. Pre-B, this is pre-B lymphoblast. And then converts, not converts, or it could be matured, or it could be specified, because this may not be a conversion process. Alright, so into NBC. What is NBC? And then into MC. Mantle B cell. Mantle B cell, chronic lymphocytic leukemia here, precursor lymphoblastic leukemia, and mantle cell post-germinal center bone marrow endophthalmitis እዚህ ጋ ነው. So the DN is double negative protein cell, double negative protein cell. Alright, what about DP? DP is double positive pretty cell, double positive pretty cell. And what about these are double positive pretty cells. And then yeah, this is the precursor. As you can see, there is lymph node here, Kazakh lymph node. All of these guys came here, migrate here, and also these guys convert here. As you can see, this is post germinal center. This is kind of the germinal. This is the germinal one. The germinal, post germinal center, and this is a post. ከዛ ወደ ኤም ሲሆናል mantle B cell, and this is MC. Alrighty. የት ነው የሚሆነው? I believe it is homing plasma cell. It's on the lymph. And GC is germinal center ማለት ነው. So it's in a germinal center. MZ is marginal zone. So this is the lymph node, by the way. And as you can see, this is germinal center. This is germinal center. This one is germinal center. This is one germinal center. This is cortex. This is paracortex. Between them, there must be a place, which is I have forgotten its name. Let's see the name. Okay, this is a mantle zone, paracortex. Between them, there's a total. What is it? This one ምንድን ነበር የሚባለው? Alright, አላውቀውም። So እንመለስበታለን. It's okay. Let's continue. So እንዳልኳችሁ ቢ ሴሎች ምን ላይ ነው የሚሆኑት? እንደዛ ነው የሚሆኑት ማለት ነው። ሶ እዚህ ጋር እንምጣ። acute lymphoblastic leukemia, acute lymphoblastic leukemia lymphomas are neoplasms composed of immature T cells which are referred to as lymphoblasts. About 85% of B cells, which typically manifest as a childhood acute leukemias. The cell community also tends to present adolescent metastasis. There is, however, considerable overlap. Okay. Yo, 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 እሺ እሺ